Hello, welcome to EdotGdot and Friends. My name is Elden. I will be your host today, and we're going to go do the year in review in which I try to rank every game that I played in 2020. Of course, these are limited to games that I actually played during the year 2020. Today's list is called This Mask is Totally Working. In homage to the COVID-19 situation that we had last year, in which we wore masks, and we still continue to wear masks because it's totally working to help us stay safe. I do think wear your mask. Don't read anything into my sometimes inappropriate sarcastic voice. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. It's totally working. Anyway, today we're going to be going through games number 94 through 61. So this is sort of like the middle of the road. So the exact order in these might shift a little bit if you ask, from the time I made this slideshow a couple weeks ago to today, they might shift around a little bit. But generally these are like middle of the road games. Some of these are new to me, including number 94, Patchwork Doodle, newer game. Patchwork is a great two-player game. I enjoy it quite a bit. I was able to pick up this Patchwork Doodle for a bargain. I think at Barnes & Noble. It was on sale. And I'd seen it before and interested in it. But this is a flip and write version of Patchwork in which your options are based on these cards that are up. And you're going to pick one of them that everybody has to put on. And you're trying to fill in your sheet the best that you can. And score points for doing certain things. I thought it worked well. The one advantage it has over Patchwork is that it will play more than two players, which is interesting. Just another, Uwe Rosenberg, the designer of this, he has like this whole thing with these Tetris type pieces that he's been working on in this tile lane. So this one's tile lane, but instead of laying tiles, you're drawing them out on board. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. Maybe like to play a little bit more. But anyway, number 94, Patchwork Doodle. 93, Mountain Goats. This was another game from the BoardGameTables.com Kickstarter, the 3 10-minute games. This one is interesting. So in this one, there's numbers, I think it's 5 through 10, and then you're rolling your dice and trying to combine the dice into numbers 5 through 10, and every time you make a 5 through 10, you get to move up one of the mountains. And so there's multiple cards in each of the numbers 5 through 10. Once you get to the top, you get a little token, and then you're trying to collect tokens. If you get a whole set of tokens, there's some bonus points available, or you're just trying to get as many tokens. Eventually, the end game is triggered, and the person who has the most points wins. Really basic dice rolling game, really easy. Not the deepest thing in the world, but is, fairly fun dice rolling game and pretty simple to play. And anyway, yeah, good 10-minute game. Mountain Goats. Number 92, Crown of Imara. This one has an interesting mechanism where your score is the lowest of kind of two things. You're trying to build houses, and you're trying to make the citizen happy. There's like is it happiness in houses? Anyway, so you're trying to get these two tracks up as high as you can because your score is going to be the lowest of them. It's an interesting, and the other thing that it has like a double rondelle, and so you have two pieces that you can move, and so you always have the option to move these different pieces, and one of them is kind of collecting resources. The other one is spending the resources in town. And I don't know. I thought it was a really interesting game. The way that you choose your actions is interesting. I don't know. It is missing some sort of little spark, and I'm not sure what that is. But it's a good game. Play it again for sure. Anyway, Crown of Amara, number 92. Number 91, Port Royal. This is a game I enjoy this game. Alexander Pfister. maker of like Great Western Trail, Mombasa, a bunch of other really good games. This is a more simple like card game. It's like a push your luck on your turn. You're flipping over cards, and if you ever flip over 2 cards of the same ship country, you bust and you get nothing. But you can keep drawing cards until like the thing that you want comes out, and there's some advantages to drawing even more cards. You might be able to buy more than one card and stuff like that, or get more than one card. And also, when other people buy cards, you get income off of that. So you want there to be cards available that other players want to buy, so you can get income off of them. And yeah, I don't know, just real interesting game. Not really a filler. It's a little longer than that, but yeah, I don't know. It's a good game. Most people I've played it with seem to enjoy it, but so yeah, good game. Number 91, Port Royal. Number 90, Tokyo Metro. I played this back in February, right before lockdown locked everything down, and this is interesting. I do not like the way it was built. The board is like this rollout mat. It's actually kind of hard to read, I felt. I was confused for the first quarter of the game, trying to follow lines, but once you figure it out, it works pretty well. But this is an interesting like action selection game where you're really like drafting these spots on the board, and you were trying to make your metro lines and stations, and trying to own these different. There's part stocks, part like I guess pick up deliver, I guess you'd call it, but you're trying to get the line to go through as many of your stations as possible, and make your companies more valuable. But yeah, interesting game. I won it. Maybe, so it must be broken. But yeah, I know, it was interesting. The aesthetics of the board and everything take it down a notch. And I saw that this is available again. It was available on Miniature Market, I think, the other day. It's probably sold out. But anyway, Tokyo Metro, number 90. Number 89, King Domino. First play this one at BGG Spring on the Spiel des Jahres tables. Good game. Very simple, very basic game. And because of that, you can play it with younger kids. You can play it with adults. It's not super strategic. The one fault to this game that people say is it is possible that you can play the entire game and not make a real decision on which tile you get, because if you go last first and then everybody keeps going and leaving that last tile, it's the only one you're allowed to take. However, I think if that happens to you, you'll win the game, because generally those are going to be the tiles that have the scoring crowns on them. But anyway, King Domino, good game. Is this Bruno Faiduti, I think, or is it Catala? I can't remember now. Can I see it? I can't see it. Anyway, good game. King Domino. Number 88, Architects of the West Kingdom. This is the first in the trilogy of the West Kingdom. I have Architects and Paladin. I'm hoping to get Viscount soon. And then this is Shem Phillips, who also made the Raiders of the North Sea trilogy. I really like Raiders. Architects is pretty good. I like how like what you do on your turn is very fast. Like you are putting down a guy and grabbing things. Sometimes it can be a little thinky. You have to think it through. I do think some of the build, like the goal of the game is the build, and there is a little bit of there's just something about it. I feel like if people play right, one order and position is going to matter a lot. And but I don't know. I haven't played enough maybe to make that a statement definitive. But there's just something about the game that doesn't make it an amazing game for me. But I do really like it. I should play this one some more. Number 88, Architects of the West Kingdom. Number 87, Circus Flocati. This is a older game. And I was able to play this one at my game groups at EFORP, our gaming convention of sorts that we have in Walla Walla of sorts. It's basically just people in our game group. About 10 of us or so show up and we play games all weekend. But anyway, Circus Flocati, another push your luck game. You're flipping over cards, and if ever you get a repeat, I think, of the color, then they all go away and you don't get anything. But you can pull out cards and then you can take one, I think, if I remember this right. Anyway, I just thought that play was really clever. It's not a super long game. Play it pretty quickly. The barrier to entry is super low, and it's a good time. Number 87, Circus Flocati. Number 86, Nokmal or Encore is the English name. I first played this a couple years ago at BGG Spring. My friend Doug had gotten a copy from Europe and taught us the game, and it's interesting. It's an interesting dice drafting roll and write. So on your turn, you roll the dice, and then you take a pair of dice the other players can't take, then everybody else gets to pick from the leftovers. I really like that. I really like where the active player can block part of the decision, but there are still choices to be made by everyone, and they can all make the same choice if that's obviously the best move. I really like that in roll and writes. But this is a pretty good one. I ended up getting my own copy eventually and gotten this to play. I really like the app. I don't count app plays in my totals, but I've played a fair amount of this one. You can play it solo and for the challenge of it, and I think it works real well. Anyway, number 86, Nakmal. 85, On Tour. This is another boardgametables.com. I got the Kickstarter on this one when they redid it, and I picked up this in QE. And I'll tell you, they did a really smart marketing thing. Right before the Kickstarter drop, they gave the app out for free, and I tried out the app for free, and it sold me on the game. I ended up playing the app a ton. I've played the physical copy a couple times. I think I prefer the app because it does some of the bookkeeping for me. But yeah, this one, you're rolling 2 dice, and then it'll make a number. Let's say the numbers were 5 and 7, so you'd put 57 and then 75 somewhere on your board, and you're trying to put the numbers in order from low to high, and you're trying to follow them through and hit the most cities as possible. And there's some ways to get some bonus points and whatnot, but it's so good. I don't know. It's not difficult. It's good, just real good. Anyway, number 85, On Tour. 84, Can't Stop. Oh man, I played this one online so many times. But I did play the physical copy, which I've done a number of times. And this is, man. So you talk about mountain goats and those 3. GPS mountain goats in Sequoia from BoardGameTables.com. And they're all in this kind of vein. And Can't Stop does it really well. Great little filler game that can go a little bit longer. I remember I played the physical copy once this year, and it was a pretty crazy game. I got the 2s and the 12s, and somebody else got... Anyway, it was a really tight game, but we all I had locked up the extremes, and I think Tim ended up winning by going up the middle, getting the 6, 7, 8, or whatever it was. But yeah, just tense little game. Obviously you're rolling dice, so there's some luck there, but enough strategy there to keep it interesting. 83, Loop and Chewy. This game is silly and weird, and it's a remake of Loop and Louie. The only difference there is one has a Star Wars theme, obviously, and the other one can play 4 players. Loop and Chewy can only play 3, which I think is a little annoying. I wish it could do 4 players, but it's just this mechanical device, and you have a little platform that has 3 little tokens, and if Chewy hits them, they knock down, and you're trying to protect your tokens by hitting the button, when the thing comes around, so you make it skip over. I don't know. Yeah, it's just fun. It's a fun game to play with the kids, and anyway, Loop and Chewy, number 83. Number 82, Rolling America. This comes in the same kind of boxes like Quicks and Quingo. in that series. But this one, you're rolling dice and drafting dice, and you're putting a number. Anyway, there's a box of all the states, and you're trying to arrange the numbers so that adjoining states are only up or down or the same as all the numbers they touch. And so, yeah, just a really, it's a hard game, and it's hard to score, but it's fun. It's fun to roll the dice. It's fun trying to get that puzzle and trying to think it through and use your little superpowers that you have, ideally, so you can do a good job. I don't know. Good game. Number 82, Rolling America. Number 81, Quinto. A very similar style of game, like with Quicks and Rolling America. This one doesn't come in the same size box. But in this one, you have the cool thing about this game is there's 3 dice that you can roll. And you can choose which of the 3 dice you want to roll. But you're trying to get the numbers in order, and there's 3 in the color, and you can choose the number in the color of the dice that you rolled. So if you don't roll all 3 of them, you're limited by the die or dice that you chose to roll. And trying to do that strategically so you don't leave options open for other people. I don't know. It just works well. It's a really good roll and write game. Quinto. Bonanza. Old game from Uwe Rosenberg. This one's all about bean farming. Really about trading beans. So you're trying to plant these beans and get as many and collect a set of as many of those that will score. And some of them, the cards are much more rare, but they score a little faster. And other ones are very common, but you have to collect quite a few of them to score. And yeah, I don't know. This game works pretty well. I find some people find it confusing, and it may be just I don't explain it very well, or they just don't have the patience to learn the rules, because it is a little more complicated than some family games, but it's not that complicated. And once people get it, they tend to like it. They like the trading. I've played this enough times where I feel like I cannot play Bonanza again and be fine. But if it comes out, I'm going to be playing it. Good game. Bonanza, number 80. 79, Sushi Roll. This is a dice version of Sushi Go, which is a card drafting game. This one is really cute. It comes with these little cardboard things that represent like a sushi conveyor belt. And, so there's going to be some dice on there that have different symbols on them. And you're going to roll those, and you're going to draft one. And after everybody drafts, you're going to rotate those little boards, and so there's new dice in front of them. It's essentially the same game as Sushi Go, except for that dice rolling, and how you can swap out dice. You can steal dice from other people's boards. Is an interesting. There's like just an interesting decision. Because there's ways that you can re-roll the dice, but it's kind of re-rolling them to try and get what you want to get is a gamble, because you might have a subpar decision or choice, but it's something that you can take when you re-roll those, and then you got even worse choices. I don't know. The way the stealing works is clever. I enjoyed this game. More importantly, my kids enjoyed it. My one daughter, who likes Sushi Go a lot, said that she liked this more than Sushi Go. I think maybe it's just cuter or whatever. But yeah, really good game. So number 79, Sushi Roll. Number 78, Welcome to. This is another game that Doug introduced to us a couple years ago at BGG Spring. And I've got my own copy. I have played this game wrong almost every time I've played it. I just realized recently I've been playing a certain rule wrong. But even playing that rule wrong, and I can see how playing it correctly would make the game better, I still enjoy it quite a bit. So yeah, Welcome to. This is a flip and write. So there's 3 decks of cards. You're going to flip over one from each, and then it'll have a number and like a superpower, not superpower, just an ability or power that goes with it. And so you match those 2 together, and you're trying to put numbers in order, smallest to biggest, on these 3 streets in a city. And so you can skip numbers, but once you skip a number, you got to be able to fit them in there. And so and then there's some bonus points for like getting the right power, like into the pools and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. This is this is a really popular roll and write. It's ranked number 123 on BGG, 7.6, very popular game. Number 78. Welcome to 77 Century: A New World. This is the third game in the series, the Century, with Spice Road and Eastern Wonders. And this one's pretty good. I think in the end, Spice Road is the best game. I think the other two get a little too complicated for their britches, for what type of game it really is. And this one's a worker placement type game. So they're all the same thing. You're trying to trade these spices into other spices so you can score things. And this one does it with a worker placement type thing. It's good. I have not tried any of the mishmashes where like you can take the different sets and play them together. Just haven't gotten that into the game. But yeah, I don't know. Century: A New World, pretty decent game. Sequoia. I briefly mentioned this. This is the third. So far, I talked about the other two in the BoardGameTables.com 10-minute game series that came out on Kickstarter. And I like this one the best. I believe this is a re-implementation of another game, which I'm forgetting the name of right now. But in this one, you are rolling 5 dice, and then you secretly combine them into 2 pairs, and you'll have a fifth die that's not going to do anything that round. And then you reveal, and then you get to grow your tree on that number that's out on the board. So you're just trying to get your tokens on your thing. It plays really quick. You roll the dice. I think it's 10 times. You roll the dice and you place them out. Your 2 tokens from the numbers that you made, and then it's area majority scoring on the different things. So whoever has the tallest one gets the points. One cool thing about it is if there's a tie, first and second get nothing. And then the third place person gets those first place points. And I like games that do things like that. I think like Las Vegas does that. Because you can be lagging quite behind. But if it engineers that tie, you can get some benefit for not a lot of capital up front. But yeah, number 76, Sequoia. Good little 10-minute game. 75, Tumbling Dice. I was just I made my own copy of Tumbling Dice, because when Tumbling Dice came out, I'd been wanting it for a while, and a new version came out, and it was $70. $70 is ridiculous. So I went out, bought me a piece of wood, got me some parts, sanded it, put it together. All in, cost me $70 to build my own. Anyway, I have it up, and I displayed it up on my wall, and had some family members come over, like, hey, what's this? So we pulled it down. I was just gonna show them like the game really quick, and we ended up playing for 2 hours. And that's the kind of game it is. It's real simple. It feels like there's some skill to it, but there's the luck of the roll, how the die rolls over and where it lands. But it just feels like there's enough skill there that you want to try and master it, that you want to keep playing in it, and like the barrier to entry is so low. If you can do this, you can play the game. Gotta do a little math, but other people can help you with that. But yeah, number 75, Tumbling Dice. 74, Spicy. This was Spills Jar's recommendation game, and that's one reason I picked it up. I'll tell you this: the description of the game when I was looking at it, I did not think I was gonna like this, because it's basically just the game BS, or it has some other games. When I grew up, we always called it BS, and that's where like you can lie about what card you're playing. And if somebody calls you out and they catch you, then you get all the cards. That game's terrible. This game makes it so much better, because when you lie, you can lie about a couple different things, but when you call someone out online, you have to name the correct thing that they're lying about, which makes it a little trickier. Makes it a little easier to get away with a lie. You can lie about the number, lie about the color, or both. but if they say, oh, you're lying about the color, but you had the right color, just the wrong number, or vice versa, and it also has some cards that are any number or any color, but they don't have a number or a color, and so you can kind of always play them, but you can always get caught in that lie because you don't have the number or you don't have the color. But yeah, I don't know. It just this is a good game. I played with some teenagers, some of my kids, and they really, really enjoyed it and really took to it, and we had a lot of fun. Anyway, number 74, Spicy. Number 73, Nova Luna. This was one of the Spiel des Jahres nominated games, and from Uwe Rosenborg and I'm forgetting the other guy's name. Cormet, I think is his last name, Van Cormet, something like that. Do I have the game here? Cormet Van Morsel, I guess is how you say that. Anyway, Stronghold Games brought this to the United States, and yeah, this game's interesting. So it has like in Patchwork where like you're going around, so like you spend time to take tiles. So some tiles take less time than others, and so you go around the more or less around the circle, and which when you complete the circle, it triggers some stuff. But what you're really doing is these cards have these different goals on them, and they have different colors. And what you're trying to do is match up the color of the tiles in the right patterns and touching the right things to complete the goals. So you are both selecting the piece that's going to help you score, and you're determining what you need to do to score. And man, it's a interesting puzzle. I've done it solo quite a few. I was able to play with some other players. In both the solo game and the multiplayer game work pretty well. Yeah, I don't know. If you like puzzly games, Nova Luna is probably a game for you. Number 73, Nova Luna. 72, Clip Cut Parks. Man, I found this at a game store. I'd heard about it, and this game is... The hook to this game just really hooked me. And so what you do is you have this paper, and you have these scissors, and then it's like a roll and write kind of, or flip and write, but when you flip the card, it tells you how many cuts you have to make and how long they are. And what you're trying to do is cut out your piece of paper using these precise cuts so that when things fall off, they match these park cards that you have, so that you can fit it on your park card and cover up the required things that park wants. And I don't know, that hook is so fun. It's unique for sure. I don't know anything else that does anything like that. And for that, but it's hard. It's puzzly. It's hard. Like the spatial recognition and trying to plan out where you're gonna cut is difficult. Anyway, number 72, Clip Cut Parks, from Renegade Games. 71, Deep Sea Adventure. I played this at a friend's house, and then bought my own. So this is one of those like Oink games that comes in little boxes. There's another version that's in a bigger box, I think, that you used to be able to find at Target. I think, if I'm remembering that right. Anyway, this is a 100% just push your luck game. So you're going down deep into the ocean, and as you collect treasures, the more treasures you collect, the more oxygen you use. And the oxygen is a shared resource. So if you get caught still under the water, when the oxygen runs out, you get nothing. You drop all of your treasure, it goes to the bottom of the sea, and you come back up empty-handed for that round. So it's like this group push your luck, and you're going down, you're trying to grab, and the deeper you go, the more valuable the tokens are, and you're trying to pick up the tokens and trying to get back in time before the oxygen runs out. And it is a interesting game. I'm terrible at it because I always push my luck. That oxygen runs out so much faster than you think it's going to. Anyway, interesting game. Number 71, Deep Sea Adventure. Number 70, Coup. I've had this game for a long time. I've played it a lot. My stepson loves the game, and we get into the fits where we played a lot, and it's a good game. So the way you have 2 cards that have rolls on them. Once your turn, your options are to take some money or try to assassinate or coup somebody. But it's all, you're trying to get enough money so you can afford the assassin, or you're trying to have enough money so you can do a coup. And as you collect, a couple different ways that you can collect money, and sometimes you get caught but you can lie. Lots of lying going on in this game, and we're trying to mislead other people on what cards you have, so you can try to use that information to your advantage. Anyway. Real good game, number 70, Coup. 69, Fuji Flush, another game I just play a lot with my family. I've played this one a lot. And it's not the most strategic game. It's just a silly card game. On your turn, you play a card in front of you. If it's still in front of you and it comes back around, you get rid of the card and don't have to replace it. But if anybody plays a card higher than yours, you have to flush your card. The little hook to the game, though, is if someone plays the same number as somebody else, those 2 numbers combine. And so, 2 is pretty weak, but there's a lot of 2s in the deck. And so if you can get 4 2s together, it makes it harder for that 5th person to try and flush you all. But yeah, I don't know. Fuji Flush. Good game. 68, The Mind. So some people say this is just more of an activity than a game. But you have a hand of cards, and I just played this the other day with my daughter, and you are trying to play the cards in order. So you're going to have a hand of cards. The first round is real easy. Both of you have 1 card. And without communicating, you have to play the cards in order. So you're going to play a card and hope it's lower than other people's. I really like to play this game with new people and not explain any of the tricks of how to do well at it. Just see if you can, without communicating, come to some sort of agreement on how to play the game, get your timing down with the other people, and it's a great little game of communication without communicating. Played a not necessarily a similar game, but we did something at a staff at work thing where we had to count up to 30 without communicating. And if somebody ever said a number at the same time as somebody else said a number, you had to start over. It's hard. And it's kind of the same idea where you're trying to do things and be in sync without communicating. And it's interesting. Interesting game. The Mind, number 68. Number 67, One Night Ultimate Werewolf. I trashed on Ultimate Werewolf in one of the other videos. One Night is the far superior way to play Werewolf, I believe. One, it's really fast. One, your discussion only lasts a few minutes. There's not really a point to yelling at people because a lot of times you don't. This has a lot more partial information. Like, you don't know who you are when you wake up in the morning because cards get moved around and you don't necessarily see what happens. And so you're trying to parse information back together and try to figure out who the werewolf is. Real good game. The app runs so smooth. It runs the game for you, so nobody has to be the moderator. Nobody has to be mad at the moderator. Anyway, number 67, One Night Ultimate Werewolf. Number 66, Bunny Kingdom. Man, the first time I played this, I thought it was kind of silly. I got another play of it in, and I don't know. I need to play it some more. Is really what it comes down to, because the game is interesting and fun. There's some luck. There's this whole big deck of cards, and you can only put your bunnies if you have the card, and you kind of get those cards. You draft them, but it's fairly random, and so you're hedging your bets, and you're trying to create these big kingdoms of bunnies. And there's ways that you can have like sky bridges and stuff, so you can connect like two like groups that are disconnected from each other. And anyway, it's a really interesting card drafting game with some crazy scores that can happen. Anyway, good game. Bunny Kingdom. 65 Gingerbread House, another new to me game. I was really interested in this game the year before, so 2019. I heard about it. It seems really interesting, but it sold out. But then it came back into print and was on sale, and so I bought it. It was caught up in a pre-order with something else, and I eventually got it right for Thanksgiving. Got it played during Thanksgiving, and I really like it. Phil Walker Harding did a real good job with this game. I just played the other day, and in fact, after that last play, I think I like it even more. I might even bump this up a little bit further on this list, had I not already made the list. But yeah, in this game you're building a gingerbread house and trying to attract these people who are eating your house so you can capture them. Kind of anyway, there are all these fairy tale characters, and there's some different ways to score. Anyway, real good game, Gingerbread House. Highly recommend if you like that type of thing. If you it's a not even medium weight. It's a pretty lightweight game that is maybe just a step above something that's super lightweight. I would really call it medium weight though. It's a good family game. Plays pretty quick. Pretty easy. There's the one thing, like the way the bonuses work, sometimes confuses people, but eventually you just work through it and you figure it out. Anyway, good game. Gingerbread House. Number 64, Res Arcana. Another new to me game, Tom Lemon. I played this with some people who used to be really into Magic the Gathering, and they totally picked up on the same kind of vibe. I've only played Magic a few times, and I don't know if it's similar, but it definitely has the same kind of vibe-ish thing. I think the way the card play in this game is really is unique, and I don't think I've seen it anywhere else exactly like that, where you have this deck of cards and you're trying to play through them the right way, but you kind of have to give up on some cards so you can do other things. And if you try to play all the cards, you just can't do it. So you're trying to figure out the most efficient way to get the resources you need to buy the things that you need to score the points that you need. And I think if I played it more, it would click and go a lot faster. The one play I have of this was a little long, but I think subsequent plays would be quicker with the same group. Anyway, Res Arcana, number 64. Number 63, Fuse. Great 10-minute exactly game. Yeah, well, you can finish it sooner, but you have 10 minutes to try and defuse all these bombs. You do that by pulling dice out of a bag, rolling them, then everybody has to pick a die, and exactly one die, and put it somewhere. If they can't, then it gets thrown back out. Things that don't get used can make it so other people have to lose their things. And this is all real time, and you're trying to go through it as fast as you can. I really, really enjoy the game. Not everybody enjoys it though. It's a high pressure game, and the intensity sometimes is overwhelming for some people. It can be frustrating, but yeah, I don't know. I have a good time with it. Number 63, Fuse. 62, Isla Dorada. This is an older game that a friend of mine introduced me to, and it's an interesting game. You get to the one thing that really intrigues me in this game is one of my favorite games of all time is Santiago, and in that game, the one thing I really like about it is it's an auction game, and I enjoy auctions, but you're also kind of forced to make these fleeting, temporary alliances, and this game has it. And so in this game, you're bidding on where you're going to go next as a group, and the whole group has to go. And so you can join bids together. You can try to outbid other people. You can try to upbid someone and hopefully they overbid you. And I don't know. I thought it was really interesting. I definitely want to play it some more. There's a couple things about the game maybe stops it from being amazing, but I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Number 62, Isla Dorada. Number 61, Azul, the Stained Glass of Sintra. Azul is a great trilogy of games. They all kind of run on this mechanism of pulling everything of a type from a location and anything else is there goes into another pot that people can choose from. This one, of the three, this is my least favorite, but still a pretty good game that I enjoy playing. And this one has like these kind of like translucent tiles that look really cool. The way this game works is maybe a little more complicated than like the original Azul is pretty straightforward and not very complicated at all. This one has like a level of complexity that I don't know is the right kind of complexity. We'll talk about the other one later, and you'll hear more of my thoughts there. But yeah, number 61, this Azul Stained Glass of Sintra. I do really enjoy it. I feel like there's a little negative there. I do really enjoy the game. But anyway, that's end of this video. So we're 4/6 the way through year 2020, all the games that I played. And so I will see you next time, or something like that. I don't know. I really need to come up with a tagline.
Where? I'm making a YouTube video, Bev.